What's up, everybody? KG Trading here with a video in a very long time. Today's video, I'm sure you can see by the thumbnail, is about Space Virgin Galactic Holdings. Really going to talk about why I believe there might be a short squeeze coming in the future here. But first, we're going to go through some technical analysis on why. They're going to pull up the website that shows how much short interest there is and why it's actually very high on them right now, and why it might be a good time to buy. As you can see, they just recently hit a low. They're only at 9.16 right now, and currently actually they're $9.24. So let's get into it. So right now I'm on Thinkorswim, and I am on a 1 year, 1 day, I believe. Yes. So as you can see, first of all, they hit a high of $60.67 back in last March, almost a year ago today. This is when Wall Street Bets was kind of manipulating the market a lot. Came back down to about $15 roughly, and then they had another a short squeeze. It was heavily shorted from everyone shorting from this high because everyone knows it's overbought, making the money, and then all the all these short sellers have to buy back, and that buying is what creates this huge increase in the price. And then it happened again as people thought it might come back down or hold my short. It didn't. They panic and they all have to buy the shares back, creating almost another high up in the 60s. And since about 6, 7 months, actually about 8 months now, they've just been slowly declining. They had a sharp fall here in mid July, and they just kind of been grinding down last 6, 7 months. I just drew this line here. You can see from high to high, and if I zoom in, you can see it almost hits these highs here, descending highs. But they finally just broke out of it in the last couple of days, and they're starting to make new highs. They'll actually start to make an actual new high if they can get over the price level of $9.84 right here. Let's try to zoom in a little more so it's not so crazy. But they've been cranking up here and there in the last couple of weeks. They looks like to me that they're about to make a new high in the next couple of days, and then, as I just found out a little bit ago, they have a high short interest. It's actually about 21% of their entire float, which is very high for kind of a regular, ordinary stock. They definitely can get a lot higher, but that's a considerable amount of the float that is short. And once they start bouncing, start making new highs here, people are going to panic, or they're going to just take their profit, and that's going to create an influx of buying, and possibly, just as you can see over here, it's going to spike. This is kind of what I'm thinking right now. But let me go on to a 20-day one over here. You can see what they've been doing the last 20 days. So they are not making lower lows anymore. They're starting to make higher lows, not higher highs. Like I said, they have to get over the price level. What is this? You can see in the top, the high is $10.06. So I'm actually going to move this up right there. Right about there. Once they get over this level, all the short sellers are going to buy their shares back because now it's starting a new uptrend. At least that's what I would think most people would do. That's the smart thing. You don't want to lose more than you have to. Of course, they're going to hold until it gets here because it might bounce, come back down. But if it does cross over, um, you might even see it up into the 13s in the next week after it does, if not sooner than that. But let's go over to Google here. All right, so Market Watch. Any of you can go on this. I'm going to put the link in the description for it. But they give you some good information here. Right here, you can see I'm on Space. 21.05% of the volume, of the float is shorted. The public float is 208 million shares. and their short interest actually in shares is 43 million, almost 44 million shares as of basically February 1st. Their total outstanding shares here is 258 million, but that's a big chunk of their total float that is shorted right now. And that's going to definitely create a short squeeze on the stock once people start panicking to take their profit or take their loss if they sold too late. So let me go back, actually do this. So here is kind of the proof that 20% is very high for a float. They definitely get much higher, especially with the new Wall Street bets kind of stuff that's been going on the last couple of years. You've seen it up into the hundreds, which kind of makes no sense, but it has, especially on GameStop. So right here, so what is a high short percentage of a float? I highlighted it for you. You can read the whole thing. You want to pause it, but the main part is, a short interest as a percentage of the float, above 20% is very high. Um, you can see how it's kind of calculated here. To calculate it for a stock, you divide the number of shares shorted by the total number available to trade. So anything over 20 is very high. 10% is kind of high. Normally, this is where bigger corporations kind of are shorting them, or maybe it even is Wall Street bets again. We don't know as of right this second, but they're shorted heavily. They can definitely be heavily, or more heavy, I should say, shorted in the future. But with the 21% shorted float, if they start creating a new high here, which is going to be at 10:06, um, this is going to be the new high, and they're going to start, as I would assume, we're going to start seeing new highs and probably exponential growth here up into the 13s, if not higher, because it's going to be a short squeeze. So we got that. Let me come over and maybe I can show you how I'm kind of linking it, that it could be back with Wall Street bets, because GameStop, if you come over and look, I don't know, actually, well, it's not working, but type it in here. You can see GameStop, they are up 7.5% today. And AMC, you can also see they are up 15.28%. I don't know if they had short interest. I did not look them up. But both of these meme stocks, you can call them, for like the past year and a half, 2 years, that have been getting all the action are starting to grow again. And here comes space back into the action because they were on the watch list before. So this is kind of what's making me think it might happen really soon here. Let me go even farther back. You can see, this is what was happening. Uh, I believe that 2020, right? Maybe I'm wrong. It's not telling me the bottom of the year, but here's 2020. So this is 2020. Yeah. So 2020 is kind of when it started. Early January, late December is when Wall Street bets came to the conclusion that they already had high short interest. So if we buy, they're going to want to cover their position, and it's going to create an exponential, growth up to the 60s, which it did. And then they sold, shorted them, and made money come back down again, and then they did it again. And how now you can see they're almost at their low that they've ever been. 690 is their lowest, but they need a bounce somewhere in here, and they're starting to get a couple green candles. But once they get a candle over candle, the first candle to make a new high here, I'm really thinking that they're gonna spike, 13, 15, maybe $20 in the next month or two, maybe more. And this could be really exciting because there's not much to lose in this trade. If they start coming down to like $8, $7, cut your loss. But personally, right now, I have a couple of call options open that expire in July because I really have faith in this right now. The theta on them is really low, so holding them that long is not going to kill me. I'm not going to lose really any money. And so far, since I bought, I am green on the trade, but I really think this is going to pop here in the future just because, the historical data that's happened before and that's happened on other stocks. So right now I'm really thinking that in the future, space is going to have a short squeeze here, but they need to get on the right time frame here. They need to break a new high. They need to make a new high because they haven't made one in almost 6 months that looks half decent. Nothing here was good at all. And once you see it, it's going to be clear to investors. Now is the time to buy. And once people get that in their head, all the short sellers are going to have to cover, and it's gonna explode like it has in the past. So yes, I believe short squeeze is going to happen in the future here. This is just my opinion. This is not financial advice, though. So trade on your own, you know, at your own risk. But leave a comment what you think is going to happen, and make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Thank you.